Did anybody like Ozzy describe the session to me? Did he? Because I find the track kind of pretty almost. It's heavy, but he has this pretty sound to his voice, doesn't he?
And he sounds really, really good on that song.
Yeah.
It was really, talking about working with one of your heroes. I went up to Ozzy's house. He's got a studio in his house, and we wrote the song. I mean, I had the music pretty much together, but with all the different artists, we got together, for the most part, got together and worked out the arrangement before we actually recorded it. In the case of Iggy Pop, he sang it the way that I wrote it, and it just went like that. But with Ozzy, we changed the bridge, something in the bridge, and so I went to his house and sat next to him while he was sort of working through the lyrics, and he's singing in a voice that I've been listening to since I was 12, 13 years old, and it's really sort of surreal to hear something almost as familiar as your parents' voice right there, sort of doing its thing while you're just sitting there going, wow.
Yeah, holy I'm sitting in Ozzy's house working with him. So that session go real quick when you recorded it?
Oh yeah. All the actual sessions were just a matter of hours.
Right. Is that right?
Yeah.
I always think that when you're recording an album, some of the songs come really quick as far as recording. You get in there, boom, 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 1 or 2 takes, like, holy that's happening. What song was like that on this record?
Well,
for you?
this is how we work this record. Is Josh Freese and Chris Chaney and I would listen to the demo, right, and work out the song, the arrangement that I probably worked with the singer prior to that, and sort of put the demo together, and we would have the basic track down in a few hours. And working with guys like that makes it possible to sort of just like figure it out and get it together very quickly. And then the singer would come in the next day. And do the vocal. And that was basically, and we blew through the whole record. I mean, I think we had 80% of the record done from May to the end of July. And then I had people that were on the road. I had to wait till they came back. And I also had a couple songs that I hadn't figured out who was going to sing them. And so, but basically we had the record done by more or less Christmas, this past Christmas. And then I had to deal with the clearances from every artist with every record company and all the attorneys and all that shit. That was the hardest part.
Well, what about one of the tunes that was maybe, I think on recording I said sometimes songs happen really quick. There's also sometimes that one that gives you, getting over to the other side of the mountain's a little bit hard. It's a little more of a challenge. Was there any song on here that you kind of going, oh, this is taking a little longer than
No, the only time that ever happened was when I couldn't figure out who was going to sing. When I never met Miles Kennedy, and I had this piece of music that was one of the songs that I pulled out of some tapes I'd made from the last Velvet Revolver tour, something I'd been playing around in the dressing room, and I was really attached to this piece of music, and I just couldn't think of the singer who had the right voice for it, and I just not knowing Miles Kennedy, having never met him, and knowing that he could sing, but not really having a good understanding of how he really worked and a grasp of his voice, I just sort of like, well, let's see what happens. And I called him up, and he was interested, and I sent it to him, and a few days later he sent it back, and it was like this phenomenal. It was like the seas had parted or something.
Is that right? Wow. You found your singer for this tune.
And that was one of the trickier things. But as far as actually hooking up with the singer and collaborating, they were all really painless.
Is that right? So there was no song that you kind of you were sitting around talking to your producer going, this song's a pain in the ass.
There was pieces of music that before I'd worked with any of the singers, there was a couple different songs, like By the Sword. I'd probably written and rewritten that particular song maybe 4 times. I think I probably have 4 different versions of it as demos before I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I think this is more or less it. And then when Andrew and I got together and actually sort of collaborated on it, he brought in a chorus part, which really just topped it off. And so there was pieces of music. The Gotten song with Adam Levine was such a sort of musical departure for me stylistically that it took me a long time before I finally was like, okay, I think this is the way it goes. And then that's when I hooked up with Adam Levine and sent it to him, and I was really apprehensive to send it to him because I thought he's probably not even going to like this. But he was definitely the voice that I thought of the whole time that I was actually sort of getting the song together.